Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Headbangers Closet. It is New Year's Eve. Hope everyone's doing well and is ready for New Year's. This is going to be my favorite albums of 2025 video. So I'm going to try to keep it somewhat quick here. I don't want to have the longest video in YouTube history. If you guys have been watching my channel for any length of time, you know I tend to tell stories, tend to kind of ramble a little bit. I've already had an energy drink and a cup of coffee, so I might talk a little fast. Maybe you got to put that thing like on super slow-mo. But anyway, like I said, hope everyone's doing well, ready for the New Year's. What do you guys got planned for New Year's? Me personally, I'm a huge college football fan, so it's starting today at noon. We got Vanderbilt, Iowa, 3:30. We got Texas, Michigan, and then the nightcap is going to be the first playoff game of the quarterfinals. We've got Miami versus Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. So I'm looking forward to just watching some college football, listening to some tunes, you know, just doing that. I'm too old to really go out and have fun or stay up late anymore. So what do you guys got planned? Let me know in the comments below. But like I said, yeah, this is my favorite albums of 2025. You guys know my rules. I don't own a CD player, so if I like a record, like a band, I buy the merch, but I try to buy the vinyl. There's no use in me just buying a CD to support them. I'd rather buy a t-shirt or a patch. So I'm going to show you guys the records in my collection that are my favorites from 2025, the last 4 or 5 being my favorites. But I've got a list of albums I've been listening to a lot this year that either A, I pre-ordered or ordered and haven't come in yet, or they just don't have anything on vinyl. So kind of do the items on the list first. So we've got Chemicide, albums called Violence Prevails. They're a thrash band from South America, really, really good stuff. They've got a handful of albums out already. This is their latest, obviously, came out this year. Really, really good stuff. Really cool version of Metallica's, I think 72 Seasons closes out the album. And I gotta say, man, it's really, really good. It took me a minute to kind of like, holy shit, this is Metallica 72 Seasons. But it sounds awesome. Give it a listen. It's really cool. Then we got an album that just came out recently. It's Australian death metal, Depravity. Really, really good death metal album. It's called Bestial Possession. Very old school sounding meat and potatoes death metal. I ordered this and it hasn't come in yet. As some of these albums from Australia and Europe tend to do, it sometimes takes a couple months to get. So I didn't really want to be waiting until February, March to do my best of 2025 video. But I did order that. Next we have is a really cool, like, blackened thrash band from Sweden called Savage Mania. The album is called Demonic Assault. Really, really cool stuff. Check them out. If you like that blackened speed, you're going to like these guys. They do it well. Then you've got a really cool band from West Virginia, awesome thrash band, Executionist. The album is called Sacrament of the Sick. Really cool stuff. And like a lot of the thrash bands on this list and in the albums I'm going to show in a little bit, it's kind of that tectonic thrash style, so that a little bit more heavy, a little bit more brutal thrash with the high-pitched vocals. Just really, really good stuff. Check them out. Of course, all of these albums I would have purchased. Some of them, like I mentioned with Depravity, I did purchase. But the rest of them I will wait till an album comes out on vinyl. Another great tectonic thrash band from Denmark is called Destabilizer. Album is called Monopoly on Violence. Sadly, I believe these guys disbanded later on in the year. I recall seeing a Facebook or an Instagram post around maybe like October, November, where they were kind of calling it quits. I think some of the guys in the band were already in other bands that maybe might be doing a little bit better financially, so they disbanded. But really cool stuff. If you dig thrash, you're going to dig a lot of these bands. And like last year's list was a little bit heavy on the death metal, this year's list is really heavily on the thrash. Another thrash band, Deadly Sins. I believe these guys are from somewhere in the UK. I'm not too sure, but the album is called Age of Revelation. Just another tectonic thrash band. Really, really cool stuff. Deadly Sins. And then you've got a London thrash band next called Halberd. I've been spelling that wrong all year long, but you can pull them up on Spotify. Really good thrash metal. Awesome stuff. The album is called Chess with the Reaper. One of the better albums of the year, in my opinion. And after I'm done with this list, I kind of go over which ones I liked best from the list. But a Halberd, Chess with the Reaper is really good. And then a band and an album I've been talking about for months now, Electrocutioners, Headbanger, their New York City thrash metal. Album of the year, in my opinion, without question. It's just an absolutely badass bitchin' record, thrash album from its finest. It's got some 80s vibe, some early 90s Sepultura vibes going on there. Just really, really cool stuff from Executioner. Like I said, album of the year in my opinion. About the last month or so, I kind of went back and forth between that album and then 1914's latest record, and I'm settling on Executioner. I just keep going back to it almost every day. I listen to at least a few songs off that record. It is so good. And then we've got another really cool band from Pennsylvania, an old school kind of mid-tempo thrash band called Carotid. Album is called Realms of Insanity. Really, really good stuff. They just got a new vocalist, so I haven't heard anything from them since the new vocalist is on there, obviously, but that album is really, really good. Again, it's only available on streaming and I think maybe CD, but really, really good stuff. If you like that, I don't know, maybe mid-tempo style, 80s thrash, kind of maybe an Among the Living, Persistence of Time, State of Euphoria era thrash from Anthrax, maybe some Overkill era thrash, late 80s. You're going to like these guys. It's not going to, speed demon its way like an early Slayer album or Megadeth record, but it's got that, it's got that maybe an Injustice for All kind of tempo to it. Just really, really good stuff, though. I love the record. Then we've got another killer death metal album. These guys from New York City. It's Glorious Depravity. The album's called Death Never Sleeps. Really good stuff. Just like the Depravity from Australia, it's just another old school sounding meat and potatoes death metal record. Just really, really good stuff. Heavy, great riffs. If you just dig any kind of death metal, you're going to like these guys. And then we've got a really cool thrash band from Spain called Red Shark. Glad to see Metal Marty Mac jumping on that train. Haven't heard too many guys talk about this band before, but album was great. The album is called Sudden Impact. It's really, really good stuff. Then we've got another UK thrash band called Exorcism. Their album is called Spectral Aggression. I actually think this is an EP, but just really, really good stuff. Excellent riffs. Again, that old school sounding thrash with a new school vibe to it. Check them out. Exorcism, Spectral Aggression. Another thrash band from Italy. These guys are called Slither. Chronicles of Despair. Again, old school sounding, but with a new school flair. These guys kind of seem pretty young. Really good album. Not the best thrash album on this list by any stretch of the imagination, but still really, really good stuff. You can kind of tell that maybe the next record from them is going to be a big step forward in the musicianship and songwriting process, but just really, really good stuff from Slither, Chronicles of Despair. Then we've got another killer blackened thrash band. These guys are from Greece. It's called Benefactor Disease. Abnormal Attachments. Really cool stuff. Awesome album cover as well. Check them out online. Benefactor, not Disease, sorry. Benefactor Decease. Really, really cool stuff. And then another album, which is right up there for me with Album of the Year. We've got Mortal Scepter. Their album is called Ethereal Dominance. These guys are a thrash band from France, Dunkirk, France, to be specific. Really, really cool stuff. I went to order this album, and on the website, I didn't meet the dollar amount to ship to America, and they really didn't have anything else that I wanted, so I was kind of bummed out about it. But eventually, maybe I'll pick it up. There were a couple of albums on this list that I ordered. So Depravity, I ordered, and Glorious Depravity, and then this next one, Ventnator. Psychodrome, a band from Australia. They're a new wave of traditional heavy metal. I ordered that album as well, and it hasn't come in yet. But really, really good stuff. If you like that, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest type of stuff, if you like the newer band called Riot, you're going to like these guys. Really, really cool. Their last album was in my collection, and this one's no different. It's just awesome. New wave of traditional heavy metal, and I ordered that, and it hasn't come in yet. There was a couple of other items I ordered that haven't come in. Pandemic Disease's latest album, awesome death metal record. I bought it from Gods of War with a really great death metal album from last year called the band's called Intolerance. Those haven't come in yet either, but a great album. Pandemic Outbreak, rather. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but Pandemic Outbreak, that death metal record will be up there on my list as well. But from this one, I would say Pandemic Outbreak, Executionist, Halberd, Electrocutioner, Carotid, Exorcism, Mortal Scepter, and Ventnator are some of the best ones on this list. So give those a listen. Give them all a listen and tell me what you think about them. So let's get right to it with the items that I purchased this year that are my favorite albums of 2025. We've got Serpent Corpse, their EP, which is called Retaliate. This is the 10-inch. I did a video, featured this in a video a while back. It's the first item I got from India, and it's just on clear vinyl. I'm not going to get it out, but it's really cool. Kind of like that Doom death style of death metal, really cool. Serpent Corpse, Retaliate, really, really good stuff. Check it out. And then we've got Trencher. The EP is called Skull Crusher. It's basically two EPs. There are two EPs on one album. Side 1 is the Skull Crusher EP. Side 2 is the Trench Metal EP. But really, really good stuff. If you dig thrash metal, if you dig speed metal, you're going to like these guys. I picked it up on just traditional black. And the album is from Heretic Records out of San Francisco. Check them out online. Really cool stuff. The guy that runs it does a lot of cool videos on his favorite metal albums of all time. Really, really cool stuff. Just talks about the records and what he likes about it and some stories about the records. But really cool stuff. Next thing we have is great Canadian thrash band Hazard. Their latest album is called The Third Dimension. And let me see if I can get this out here. This one's on colored vinyl as well. Really cool, old school sounding thrash with a new school vibe, just like a lot of the thrash this year was. I really love that kind of thrash at the moment. Great stuff, but it's on that kind of like that pink flesh colored vinyl. Really good stuff. I've got their last album as well. It's really, really good. Check these guys out, Hazard. Just great sounding thrash, new school thrash. You'll dig it. Speaking of thrash, we got the latest from Warbringer. This album is called Wrath and Ruin. Awesome gatefold right here. Whoops, the little thing just come out. Gatefold right there with the lyrics and the guys in the band. And I was late to the party, so I was only able to get it on black vinyl, but really, really cool. Probably one of the better thrash albums of the year, in my opinion. Warbringer basically just, every album kicks ass. To me, they're really coming into their own as a really great band, like a Testament and Overkill, where it's just continuing every album of just great thrash. They never disappoint. They never really deviate or try to reinvent the wheel. They're just doing what they do best. Really, really like that one. And this is an album right here that I've been talking about for a while that I just got in the mail yesterday, so I'm glad I was able to get it into the video. But it's Bear Mace, Chicago death metal. Album is called Slaves of the Wolf. Picked it up on red vinyl. Favorite track on here has gotta be The Iceman Cometh. It's like a death thrash type of tune with the guitar riffs, but just awesome, awesome death metal from Chicago area. Really, really great stuff. They didn't have an album, album for me to buy. I've been listening to these guys for quite a while now, and just happened to be looking through Instagram and saw that they had vinyl. So I was like, oh shit! So I went on Bandcamp and picked it up. Awesome stuff from Bear Mace. Check it out. Again, same thing as some of the other death metal albums I've talked about on this list. It's just that good old school sounding meat and potatoes, as my good buddy Mark from Metal Never Dies likes to say, but that meat and potatoes death metal sound. Really good stuff. A little bit more to this band musicianship-wise than some of the other death metal bands, though, but definitely check them out. Bear Mace from Chicago, Slaves to the Wolf. Awesome stuff. And next is another album I've talked about quite a bit this year. It's Celestial Wizard. The album's called Regenesis. I never know how to kind of characterize these guys are so good. They're from Denver, but it's so tough to kind of categorize these and what they sound like. I've mentioned it before. There's a little bit of black metal, a little bit of death metal, a little bit of thrash, a little bit of power, a little bit of new wave of traditional. Just great stuff. The guitar harmonies on here are second to none, just like they were on their last album, Winds of the Cosmos. So definitely check them both out. Really, really good stuff. I've never been able to see them live. When they tour, they kind of stick to that area of the country, like Denver and those mountainous, Rocky Mountain states and into Cali and Pacific Northwest. I don't think they've ever really ventured very far east, but hopefully one day they will. Maybe the more I keep talking about them, the more people listen to them, and then they sell more albums. They want to tour more. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But really, really great band, Celestial Wizard. New album's called Regenesis. Check them out. Next we have is the latest from Gruesome. killer band. This album is called Silent Echoes. It's basically like, you know, the Death's Human is on red vinyl. Awesome. Bright red vinyl. Really, really good stuff. I love this record. In fact, I've been a fan of Gruesome for a while. Talked about my favorite album from Gruesome being Savage Land. But this thing's right up there, man. I was kind of surprised how much I played this and how much I dug it. I knew I was going to like it, but I wasn't really prepared for how much I was going to really like this thing. Just awesome, awesome record. It kind of feels like these guys got better with time when writing the songs, playing the songs, their talent with their instruments. Just really, really great stuff. Gruesome, Silent Echoes. I've seen it. A lot of you guys, watched a lot of you guys talk about your favorite albums and your top albums of 2025, and a lot of y'all had this one on it, so I'm glad we're in, you know, cahoots on that one, right? But awesome record. Next one we have is Leper Colonies, Those of the Morbid. Great death metal. I've talked about this a little bit this year, but I haven't really seen too many people talk about this record. It's really, really good, awesome, solid death metal. There it is. I picked it up on black vinyl. Really, really great stuff. I'm not really sure where these guys are from. I want to say somewhere in Europe, but I can't be sure. I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments below where they're from. A really, really good death metal. Check these guys out. An album and a band that I don't think's been talked about enough this year. Really, really good sounding. And just like a lot of the death albums that have come out, death metal albums that have come out this year. With this one in particular, I hear a lot of, you know, death influence in the band with some of the lyrics and the vocal deliveries. But check it out, Leper Colonies, Those of the Morbid. Listen for yourself. Let me know if you agree with me on that or not. And speaking of death metal, we've got one of the better death metal albums of the year. I think these guys are from Denmark. Somebody commented on my video when I talked about these guys, but it's Beast. Their album is called Colossus. Phenomenal record. Kind of that melodic death metal, that death and roll, if you will. Just really, really good album. Definitely check these guys out. I've talked about it a couple of times on my channel. Really, really good stuff. Absolutely love this record. Really dig that album cover too. That's really cool. Yeah, check these guys out. Awesome stuff. So I guess that was maybe be like the first one in my like favorites of the year in which I purchased. The next one is Ghost's latest record, Emporium. Or no, sorry, that was last one, Skeleton. I saw these guys live in July, and when they did like the no cameras thing, and I gotta say, man, that added to it. I was kind of bummed. You know, I like to take pictures at concert. You know, I pay a lot of money for the tickets. These tickets were pretty damn pricey. And, you know, unless I'm going to a club in Atlanta, if you go see a band in like an arena or amphitheater, you're going to pay a good bit of money. I kind of like to take a handful of pictures at least. I'm not one of those dudes that's going to have my freaking phone up the whole damn time, filming the whole freaking show. I take a handful of pictures, first couple of songs, put the phone away, and then maybe do the same towards the end of the show. But I got to say, man, like that no camera policy, it just worked. Like everybody was just into it, singing along, air guitar and headbanging. You know, there were like younger kids dancing around. There were a lot of old school metalheads at this show in Atlanta. Judging by some of the battle vests I saw, and I know a lot of people say Ghost isn't metal, and I would tend to agree with you there, but I just really dig the band. I think they're phenomenal. This album is no different. Really, really good stuff from Ghost, but great show. Really good show. They're doing another leg in North America. I think this coming up like spring and summer. If you dig them, check them out. If you don't, if you're kind of on the fence, check them out anyway. They're really cool. Sound good live. Next, we have Testament's Parabellum. What can you say? Another masterpiece from Testament. Amazing song. I can't stop listening to the song Shadow People and Meant to Be. I don't know what it is about Testament ballads, man. Every one of them are just bangers and super duper catchy. Great musicianship. You know, you know, Chris and Alex do such a great job. Of you know, the guitar works and dueling harmonies with each other. Their ballads are so good. And I don't, also with Testament, I might have mentioned this before, I don't know what it is. They can do a ballad and get away with it, but like pretty much any other thrash band does a ballad and people like sellouts and, you know, kind of talking shit about the ballad, being like, oh, it's the worst song on the album. But Testament just does it so well. So I'm maybe wondering that's the reason. I think there's some other thrash bands that do ballads pretty good. You know, kind of those power ballad deals. But for whatever reason, these guys just get away with it. And I think it's because the ballads are just so freaking awesome. But Parabellum just came out not too long ago. Amazing. Picked up my tickets for their tour with Overkill and Destruction. Really, really excited about that. So yeah, check it out, Parabellum. I'm sure you guys have already listened to the album, but listen to it again. Next one is a record I've talked about for a while now. It came out early in the year. It's the latest from Night, and it is called Cult of the Serpent Sun. And this is kind of classified as like goth doom, and I liken it to Ghost if they had a set of balls. Just like heavier, more dark, a little bit more melodic, if you will, with the guitars. Just absolutely amazing album. And I did not get to see these guys live. They came to Atlanta in the spring, but the very same day they were playing in Atlanta, I was in Nashville at Metallica. So I missed them. So hopefully they come around again. Really great band. I was a fan of their last album as well. But definitely give these guys a listen. If you don't like Ghost, don't be scared away from listening to this band. I know a couple of you guys heard me talk about this album before. I know a couple of you guys purchased it on CD. But definitely, just because I call it Ghost with balls, don't be afraid. I know some people don't like Ghost. They don't think it's metal, as I don't, just like I mentioned. But definitely give these guys a listen. They're really good. Another one of the favorites in the albums I've purchased this year, a band I've talked about quite a bit. It's Frightful. Album is called What Lies Ahead. It is a death thrash. I could kind of consider it a little bit more death metal, but the more I listened to it over the year, the more thrash metal kind of came out. And I really dig this album. These guys from Europe, just like with a lot of the European bands, I kind of forget what country they're from, but really good stuff. Awesome turquoise vinyl, just like the color on the album cover, but really good stuff. Haven't really heard a lot of people talk about this record, but it's definitely one of those bands and albums I stand behind. I know a lot of you guys have been watching my channel for a length of time. You guys know that when I really get behind a record, I've seen y'all jump on it as well, give it a listen. I've been tagged in a lot of videos over the last couple years. You guys have kind of bought an album I've talked about and really liked it. I love that. I do the same with you guys. There's a couple of albums on this list that I wasn't into until hearing you guys talk about it, some reviews, and then even some of the early best of 2025 lists, kind of went back and gave some of them another listen. It was like, you know what, the thing's really good. Ventnator, which I talked about being on the list I talked about just a little bit ago, being one of them. But this album is amazing. Frightful's What Lies Ahead, so good. Check it out. And then we've got Warfield. With the Old Breed, thrash metal, again from Europe. Don't remember what country these guys are from. Tectonic thrash at its finest, just so good. Such killer riffs. The vocal delivery is great. The solos are great. Absolutely love this record. Didn't really know much about Warfield. It came up on my suggested, artists on Spotify one day with one of the singles from the album. I think it's called Lament of the White World. I listened to it. I thought it was really good. And I was like, I got to give these guys a listen. I saw that the album was going to come out a little bit later. And then they put out a second single. And I listened to that, and that was even better than the first one. I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and pre-order this. So I did, jumped on it. As you can see from Napalm Records, I got the splatter vinyl. But really great stuff. My second favorite thrash album of the year, next to Electrocutioner's Headbanger. Absolutely amazing stuff. Really great album. Check these guys out. You will not be disappointed if you like thrash metal. Just like Testament's Parabellum, just like Gruesome, Silent Echoes. I've seen a lot of you guys talk about Warfields with the Old Breed in your videos of Best of 2025. Really good stuff. And last, but certainly not least, we're going on 24 plus minutes here. We've got 1914's latest album. It is called Veribus Unitas. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. These guys are from the Ukraine. They're a blackened death metal band. I absolutely love this album. I went back and forth with this one and Electrocutioner, Headbanger as the best albums of my favorite albums of the year 2025. And I kind of landed on Electrocutioner, but this thing's great as well. So right up there, it was neck and neck, and I basically chose Electrocutioner just because I listened to it the most this year, and I just couldn't stop listening to it. But this one's the same way. Like, it rarely has an album basically been ingrained in my brain like this one has. I would have to say maybe Metallica's Injustice for All back when it came out in '88 and I first heard it. But this album really grabbed me, and I just couldn't stop listening to it, and I talked about it before. Let me get the damn sleeve back on. All right, fuck it. But I talked about it before. One of the reasons why I like this thing so much is because I'm a military history guy. And every song is about World War I on this album, just like some of their other albums. But just the vocal delivery from the guy, you could just kind of hear like he was in the damn battle singing about, you know, his emotions from being in combat for like 4 years. But just amazing stuff. Just completely gripped me. I love it. Give these guys a listen. Give this album a listen. I promise you will not be disappointed. Just such a great record. Give all these albums a listen if you haven't done so already. Let me know in the comments below what's your favorite one. If I haven't watched your video and comment, do link it or tag me in it so I can. I'm trying to get to everybody's best of 2025 videos. I love watching that stuff. Just like everybody, just like every year, there's albums from the year that I miss. There might be an album that I kind of get onto, you know, at a certain week and just listen to it for like a week or two on end and kind of miss out on some of the other better records that came out that week as well. So let me know in the comments, you know, what you guys think I missed. But definitely check out all these records, especially from the list that I read off, all those albums as well. Just as good as these, but you guys know the rules. If I don't have it to, you know, if I haven't purchased it, I can't show it. I can only just talk about it a little bit. So hopefully those 4 albums that I ordered from that list come in soon, and I'll maybe show them on a, you know, collection update video. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Happy New Year, happy holidays. Hope everyone has a safe and happy New Year. And I appreciate all you guys checking out my channel. And I'll have another video for you guys very soon. Cheers, everybody. Happy New Year.